I think the mindset needs to change, because it's only when you create wealth, only when there is an appreciation that you have to pay taxes. Because if we only concentrate on taxes, then the only choice that we have is to die poor. Because we always want to be below tax slab, which means we'll be dying poor. So when we talk about investments, I believe we need to go back to our insecurities, because insecurities bring in a lot of our behavior with managing money. And those insecurities are because if you look at from the time that we have been independent, independence happened 75 years ago. So if you look at our grandfathers and great grandfathers, when they started, they had very little wealth. They had to sustain. Medical facilities were bad. They had families. They had responsibility to create wealth for themselves, have a home for themselves, establish businesses for sustaining their lifestyle. So what happened is people started investing in traditional businesses, and people became very scarce of money. So the traditional businesses started investing which is gold and real estate. So if you look at the last few decades, that's why behaviorally people wanted to be safe, because of what they had gone through during independence, and they wanted that fear in them. So people started investing in gold and real estate, and that's what traditionally has been happening in India. The equity cult had been there from the 1980s. 1980s, why I'm emphasizing, because you had the National Stock Exchange and the Bombay Stock Exchange, and everything started working. That's how the equity cult actually started. And that's where different options started coming into investments. 1991 was the time when India opened its economy, and the world started looking at India. People started coming to India and start investing. That was the time India started to do very well. Globally, we started expanding. But fortunately or unfortunately, because of our ancestral advices that we had, and the fearful nature that we were brought in, traditional investments of gold and real estate became a part of our culture. And that culture got changed in the last 1.5 to 2 decades, especially more in the last 1 decade, because of social media, because of internet, and because of social media, people started hearing and talking about what's happening in the different investment avenues, where is the place that you have to invest. So that's traditionally the culture and the story of India. So investments over the years and over the decades, we have to change for the reason because kind of aspirational life that we are in today, with the kind of expenses, we want to go to the best, we want to put our children to the best of the schools, the best of the education system, we want to live better, we want to travel better, we have aspirations of a home, we want to have a holiday home. All of that needs, you can't sustain yourself with traditional investments. It has to go beyond the traditional investments to see that how your wealth grows. If you look at also saying that you had tax-free bonds and all of those issued in the 1960s, 70s, 80s, 90s, government used to issue tax-free bonds, used to invest in PPF. But if you look at the last few years, those government bonds, tax-free bonds, have been not there on the market anymore. That was taken, I think, in the year 2011-12, it was the last tranche of tax-free bonds which were issued. After that, there have been no tax-free bonds. Government now wants to concentrate on a lot of infrastructure projects and a lot of what the government is supposed to do. Whereas what is happening with us is whole economy has given a lot of other investment options to invest, which is, it could be fixed deposit, it could be real estate, it could be gold, it could be silver, equities, all of those asset classes. Each of them has to be there in your portfolio, and with certain allocation in each of the portfolio, so that you get the best of those investments and best of your sustainable wealth that it can create. So please have that open mind to see that how you look at investments and don't be just stuck to the traditional investments which were also there, because it is extremely important to also know that all of these years when we were in our upbringing years, we've always stuck to the thought of taxes. I think taxes become so much more important of our life. Anything that we do, we first think what is the tax portion on this. I think the mindset needs to change, because it's only when you create wealth, only when there is an appreciation that you have to pay taxes. Because if we only concentrate on taxes, then the only choice that we have is to die poor, because we always want to be below tax slab, which means we'll be dying poor. So we have to change that mindset about taxation. We have to see saying that what are all how we can actually prudently invest to get that best kind of returns, and also see that how we minimize our taxes. But I think we have to change I would urge everybody to change the mindset about managing money, and also to have a mindset about saying that how do you look at tax differently. The lens that you look at taxes differently is much needed in today's times. It is more, I think you should more concentrate on how much more wealth I can create, how much more opportunity that we have. I think we all have to be blessed that we are born in the best time and the best place on the whole globe. India is a growth story for the next 20-25 years, and I think in the next 20-25 years there will be huge opportunity for all of you to create that abundant wealth for yourself and to sustain your life.